We are the Sports Junkies, sports talk show. We're going to have a lot of fun. We got an interesting show coming up today. I'm Thomas McWalter along with Ben Baker. And welcome to the show. And today Ben's going to fill us in on a sport that's really up and coming. That doesn't get a lot of airtime, doesn't get a lot of talk on the sports shows. But apparently it's really big here in Santa Cruz.
Yep.
And so, local Santa Cruz, I think we should talk about it. And that sport is, of course, disc golf, also known as Frisbee Golf or Frolf. Now, I got to be honest, Ben, I first heard about this on an episode of Seinfeld.
Really?
I think there was an episode where George was invited to go play Frisbee Golf or something. I don't know, but that's when I first heard about it. Now, I know you got a big tournament coming up this weekend. You're really into Frisbee Golf. Or disc golf, whatever you think we should call it. So tell us a little about what's going on. Tell us a little about, for those of us who don't know, tell us a little about Frisbee Golf.
Well, the thing why it's called disc golf is because Frisbee is like Kleenex. It's a brand name.
Right.
So anyways, you throw these discs, and they're shaped like the conventional Frisbee. They all have different shaped rims, edges on them. And as you can see, this one, a little more rounded. I don't know if we're on 3 or 1, but this one's a little more sharp. And so, they're designed to do different things. You have your discs that are putters, you have your discs that are drivers. And so,
let me just say, that's interesting right there, because I think a lot of us, a Frisbee is a Frisbee.
Yeah.
I mean, you just go out and you play catch along the quad at your college, you go out to the park and play Frisbee. You don't think, okay, there's a different type of Frisbee for things you want to do, but in Frisbee golf, it really comes into play.
It sure does, yeah. Something that's, it's amazing how just the slightest difference between the rims can make all the difference in the world in how it flies. And especially the more you get used to throwing them. And so in comparison to ball golf, as it's commonly called among Frisbee golfers, to differentiate between the two. Well, we like to call our own game golf because that's what we're used to.
Yeah.
Tiger Woods golf. Yeah, you could play it in the Tiger Woods video game. And
really?
Yeah, there's actually a few video games that feature it. I think one of them, Sports Champions, has a really good version of it.
Cool.
And yeah, if you lose your disc, it's like losing your club. So you might have just lost your 9-iron in a tree, and that's no good.
No.
And it's a really fun game. It's really cheap to get started. So unlike golf, where you might have your first round, you blow $30 on your round.
And clubs are expensive.
And you say, man, I suck at this game. I don't want to spend $30 to suck and try to get good. And so it's more fun later. This, you can go out, have a fun time, spend no money. You could take the whole family out to play, as a lot of folks do, and it's a great time.
Okay, so the main difference between disc golf and Tiger Woods golf.
Tiger Woods golf.
Tiger Woods golf. Obviously, Tiger Woods golf, you play with a little ball, and in Frisbee golf, you're playing with these discs. What are but basically, other than that, it's pretty similar to Tiger Woods golf.
Sure. There's a lot more trees, and instead of having a really manicured course, although sometimes those courses have been made into Frisbee golf courses, most of the ones, at least up here in Northern California, you're going out into the woods and you're trying to maneuver these Frisbees through trees. And it's really difficult. At the same time, you're getting a good hike in. So, I'm not going to say that none of us look at golfers and say they're kind of lazy, riding those carts around the whole time. We go in and we get our good hikes in every day. We're in real good shape.
No offense to any
for the most part.
Watching.
No offense to any golfers watching. And we love golf. Anyone who really gets into Frisbee golf appreciates the true nature of the sport, which is really, really similar to Tiger Woods golf, if you will.
Maybe we should call it Alex Trevino golf. I don't know.
Lee Trevino golf.
Famous golfer, Lee Trevino.
Chichi Rodriguez golf.
Chichi Rodriguez. There you go. Peg Stewart. But this is getting silly now. Now for disc golf, obviously you don't throw the ball the disc into a hole. You throw it into a net, right?
Well, it's actually a basket made out of chains.
Okay.
I don't know if you guys can zoom in on this, but if you see this picture here, it's a metal pole that comes up out of the ground, and then there's a metal basket, and these chains here knock the Frisbee down and drop it into the basket.
Cool. Okay,
so to get your shot into the hole, you have to hit those chains somewhere close to the middle to get it to land properly.
You mentioned this to me earlier. I think it's a good point. Why? And we're almost, we got to wrap this up. But at the same time, this seems like a real sport, right? It seems like it's an up-and-coming sport. It's gaining popularity, obviously. Why does this not get coverage in ESPN and yet poker does? I'm sorry. Poker is great. I like playing poker, but it's a game. It's not really a sport.
I think the main thing is familiarity. You still find a lot of people across America and the world that say, "What's that?" You know, while everybody knows what poker is.
Right.
And so it's going to be a matter of time and exposure. You know, it's really growing. There's courses popping up everywhere, including just remote countries that you would never guess. And it's becoming popular in college, and there's starting to be high school teams. And I think we're a few sponsors away and a few maybe TV networks away from turning this to the type of sport that a lot of pros can make a living off of.
Cool. Yeah, well, it sounds great. And thank you, Ben, for introducing us, us casual fans, to the sport. And
thanks for giving me the opportunity.
Yeah, no, it seems really cool. And our third man is signaling that he wants us to throw him one over here. I'm not sure that's a great idea, just because.
I'm good enough to do this safely.
You're good enough to do it? All right, do it. Nice. All right. See,
I think I got it in.
Skills.
That was a hole in one.
Skills, ladies and gentlemen. With me, you probably would hit the camera. Of course, I would have thrown a backhand like if I was playing Frisbee, though. That you did not do that, so that's the other difference. All right, it curves that way, you know. It would curve differently, right? Which is something you have to take into consideration when you're lining up a shot.
Oh, sure. They call the shots Heisers and Anheisers, depending on whether you're trying to get the disc to turn left or to the right. Sounds German or something, right? Yeah. And yeah, there's all sorts of different shots and all sorts of fun names to go along with them and great characters to play along with. And I think the game is really going to take off, especially when people get to meet the people that play it.
Yeah.
I think that's going to be one of the big turning
Come
points.
meet Dad. He's got an autograph session. No, I'm just kidding.
Sure. I'll sign your disc.
You're signing your discs. Great. All right. Well, thanks, Ben. That's great. I mean, it's always fun. I think for me, it's always fun to learn about a new sport and a new game that's up and coming and gaining popularity, because you never know. I mean, this might be, you know, a segment on a Sports Center someday, you know, or something coming up on. You know, on something they might do is, you know, here's the X Games and then come up next some Frisbee golf. You know, you never know.
Exactly. A lot of people draw a parallel to skateboarding, how, you know, back in, say, the 80s, you know, it had this sort of underground following, but then, you know, ESPN got involved and some other major sponsors, the X Games, and next thing you knew, everybody had a skateboard.
All right, great. Exactly. All right, thanks, Ben. We are the Sports Junkies. We'll see you guys next time.